got to remember with Scrubs and now with Stan, they're both there's this kind of sophisticated humor, certainly in Scrubs. With Cox, because he's so damaged, and writers can really dig their mitts into damages, Cox never became redundant. And we're doing the same thing with Stan. Stan is a deeply, deeply damaged character. He's a sheriff. He probably's never taken his weapon out of his holster in the 27 years he was a sheriff. He's issued traffic tickets. And now in the first 3 minutes of the first episode, he's lost his job of 27 years and his wife has been killed. And now this is our hero? That's just fascinating to me.
It's not, and the reason I love it is because of Stan. The witches and everything else are, oh yeah, there's also a horror element, but it's your character that's so relatable and so great.
Stan's authenticity I care about, but the tone of the piece is what we hew to. And as one of the producers, and we've now cut all 8 episodes of season 3, that's where our focus is all the time.
We just watched the trailer as well for Benched, which you have coming out now in the next few weeks as well. While obviously it's a very, very different story and a very different character, we can see Cox in that character, we can see Stan in that character.
Yeah, there's a disproportionate amount of John McGinley in all those things, because that's, through the work I've done, that's who I know the best. What's authentic in front of the lens is what resonates.
You're actually in what is probably my favourite action movie, and certainly one of my favourite movies of all time, which is Point Break.
Oh yeah.
And your character in it is such a loathsome character, but so good.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that he's running a department. Was it Ben Harp? I know Harp is running the department, and he doesn't suffer fools. Uh-huh. And Keanu's character at the beginning is a fool, and so is Gary's. And so those aren't the kind of employees that really we're going to roll the welcome mat out for. And so there's that lovely, almost 3-minute walk and talk when Steadicams were happening, where we got to establish all the who, what, where, when, how in that one incredibly fluid walk and talk at the very beginning of the movie.
I take the skin off chicken.
And it's just unbelievable. Yeah, take the skin off chicken. And we shot it about 36 times. I think Catherine kept, I think the one in the movie is 3 or 4. We're
delighted that you're still here with Stan and everything else, that you're still there every week. Because whenever Scrubs ended, it was, our life was emptier without Dr.
Very
Cox.
much so, very much so.
Yeah, that was a good run. We had a good run with that show.
One thing I've always kind of wanted to ask you, have you ever bumped into Hugh Laurie and just went, I got there before you?
No, but the New York Times said that in their review. So I feel like that kind of, but that just set the table.
John, whatever you have ahead of you today, we hope that it finds you very well and that you have a very good day. And we look forward to Stan season 3 and everything else that you have coming out in the coming months and years.
Thanks, Mark. It was nice talking to you guys.
And you as well. Thank you very much.
All the best, Mark.
Take care, sir.
Thanks very much, man. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed those little segments of our interview with John C McGinley, and to listen to the full thing, go to followingthenerd.com or search for us on Spreaker Web Radio.
Hey, I'm Nicholas Brendan, Xander Harris from Buffy, and you are Following the Nerd.
Hey, this is Laura Summer. I kept the firehouse hot as Janine Melnitz in The Real Ghostbusters, and I'm following the nerd.
What a great guy.
A wonderful human being.
I gotta be honest, he kind of took me by surprise because I expect him to be a bit more sort of, whoa, but he was actually so, serious and dedicated and professional, and a lovely bloke.
But do you know what, though? That's the sign of a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Whenever he can make you believe that he is Dr. Cox and that he is just firing out rapid fire insults, or if he's like Stan, where he's just so done with life, and that's where the comedy comes from.
Yeah.
But to talk to him in real life, he is madly passionate about acting.
Yeah.
And you get that from the interview. And obviously that's a cut down edited version that we were playing for the people out there in Listenerland. But for the full interview, and it's nearly about 40 minutes long. It's just over 30, I think it is.
It'll actually be online as soon as the show's over tonight. It'll be on follownerd.com.
It'll be on followner.com.
Uncut interview.
And it'll also be on Spreaker Web Radio.
It will.
And you can find that by searching Following the Nerd.
You can indeed.
And it's brilliant to listen to. A lot of talk about Ireland in it.
Yeah, and he's such a big fan of Ireland.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, and you heard it there, but the interview, as soon as he started, he's like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, Northern Ireland. He's like, yeah, I'm coming over there.
I'm going to be there early next week. Like, we're going to talk
what,
about...
here in my house? What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, the second he said that, I was like, hang on, we've got our wires crossed here. He thinks he's coming over here for an interview. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not paying for flights. I'm like, you're taking your brothers?
I can't afford to pay for flights.
Yeah. I really want to say, could we meet you in Dublin? Because that would be an awesome face-to-face interview. And then I thought, a bit stalkery. Right. But yeah, a great interview altogether. Yeah, listen, so this news made me very happy last night.
Slap me in the face with it.
I'm going to slap you like it was a big white kipper.
Yeah.
Easy.
Put me in my place.
Hey. Fish puns.
What is it?
Right? Off the scale.
Come on.
Hans Zimmer has announced that he's going to come back and score Wonder Woman 1984.
Yes.
Which is amazing news because he's, frankly, one of the best composers working in cinema today.
He is, yeah. And again, that's something we were talking about last week as well. Like, his score for Batman v Superman. Sublime.
Unreal. And again, anytime I say this, people are like, you're just a big DC fan. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are two of the great... And Blade Runner 2049 as well.
Do you know what? Just as a little sidebar there. Like, when people say, oh, well, you're just a DC fan, you love everything. And?
Yeah, so... But it's always like, but they are two of the best scores in modern cinema.
They are beautiful, man.
Now, I'm going to play a piece of music here. This is actually from Batman v Superman. It's called Is She With You? And it's what has become the best known...
Well, that was his collaboration with Junkie XL, who also did the music for Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, and Deadpool.
Yes, and it's such a wonderful mix. It shouldn't work.
It's amazing.
It shouldn't work.
Yeah.
It's an anomaly, but somehow this great infusion of classical orchestra for movie scores mixed with this mad rock and pop that Junkie XL is known for, because obviously Junkie XL, he did the remix for the Elvis Presley song that came out. Was it A Little Less Conversation? Was it?
Yes,
that came out early 2000s.
Oh no, was that not David Holmes?
No, that was Junkie XL.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So to have these two polarizing styles of music merged together, it would either create something that sounds awful like nails on a chalkboard, or it'll sound something as beautiful as this.
And the frustrating thing as well is that the two of them had already started collaborating on the score for Justice League. Yeah. And they brought back Danny Elfman. Now, I love Danny Elfman. I do. Danny Elfman is amazing. And I love the score for Justice League.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it's not so good. And
yeah, it doesn't match up at all.
Just to imagine what those two would have done together for Justice League.
Yeah, because again, it's something I was complaining about before. It's the creative process. And, hearing the original da-na-na-na-na for the Batman theme and hearing the original Superman theme, it's good. It's not creative. It's just reusing something that we've heard before to evoke feelings of nostalgia. Give us something new and different. I'll line up for that any day of the week.
Hi, I'm Gates McFadden, and I'm following the nerd.
This is Anthony Gruber. Nerds. I hate these guys.
Right, what about Jean-Luc Picard coming back?
Who cares?
Oh, me? I don't care.
I'm so done.
I do kind of care.
I don't.
Do you not really?
What a waste of time and effort, because I mean...
Hashtag balls to that! Oh my god!
No! I mean, it'd be alright if they were saying, like, oh my god,
he's a legend!
But Jean-Luc Picard's coming back, this is great. Oh, it's on Discovery, who cares?
It's not on Discovery,
Is
though.
it not?
He's getting his own series.
Brilliant!
No!
I'm immediately invested.
Okay. Oh my god.
The last I heard it was on Discovery, and I just thought, what a waste of time and life.
Discovery have 3 or 4 different Star Trek shows planned.
Yeah, they're all awful.
Right, okay. Star Trek Discovery was really good until, what do you call him, died? Jason
No, it
Isaacs?
wasn't.
It was good until he died.
It was awful.
Spoilers.
Who cares?
But Jean-Luc's coming back.
Brilliant.
Awesome. That's all we know. Move on.
Fantastic. Can his first officer be Ian McKellen?
I'd watch that.
Please.
I'd watch that.
Yeah. And Derek Jacobi as well. He can play Worf.
That's a whole lot of camp.
It'd be a wild show.
It would be a wild show.
It'd be wonderful. Like at that stage in the game, you could have the entire spaceship just be kitted out in rainbow colours. Like it would be the best show ever.
Oh my god! That's so yeah, yes. Yes,
I want that.
Okay, this is a big story that happened a couple weeks ago as well.
Moving
on. Yeah, because I don't know. Again, you've just brushed me into a corner. Thanks, Saxon. That's a fucking pleasure doing this show with you. So a few weeks ago, there was the announcement that they were rebooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, yeah. Another pointless exercise.
Another. I'm just going to take your mic down. Yeah. So. So they're rebooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Wonderful.
Awesome. And apparently, once again, because the buzzword at the moment is diversity, they're looking to have like an African American actress playing the role.
Oh, it doesn't matter who plays the role, it'll still be terrible.
Okay. So there was a bit of an uproar about this, because Buffy is Buffy.
Yeah.
And the very nature of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is that you can have a different actress, but not as Buffy.
All right, do you know what? All joking aside, here's what I want to see. I want to see a sequel to the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series called Rhonda the Immortal Waitress.
Right.
Which, if you'll cast your nerdy minds back to about 20, 30 years ago, that was Joss Whedon's original idea for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, I didn't know
That's
that.
what was going to be called, Rhonda the Immortal Waitress. And then that evolved into Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, that's
So
interesting.
if you're going to do something like that, and if you want the fans on board, which of course you do, because that's going to provide the backbone for your viewership, call it Rhonda the Immortal Waitress. But they're not going to do that, because that doesn't have any connotation to Buffy the Vampire Slayer at all, and they need the brand name if they're going to reboot it.
So tell me this, do you think now the woman behind the show, the showrunner, now Joss Whedon is still involved, obviously, because he was the creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I know he's fallen out of grace quite a bit over the last while for various reasons.
But do you think it's going to be involvement in the case that like Fran Rubel Kazooie was involved in the TV show?
I think it is.
Where it was basically just in name only?
Yeah, and it's going to be one of these things, oh, we're bringing back Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Joss Whedon's on board, because the studio's going to be like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Then if
Joss Whedon's on board, and his bank account just added a couple extra zeros to it.
Counting notes.
Yeah.
But the showrunner is a lady called Monica Owusu-Breen. After the whole thing about where the original announcement made it out that they were going to recast a Buffy, basically. They were going to have Buffy, and she was going to be played by a black actress. And there was a big uproar. And again, like the Ghostbusters thing, I don't believe the majority of people had an issue with the fact that it was going to be a black actress. The issue was, why have her as Buffy?
Yeah.
You know,
again, Rhonda, the Immortal Waitress.
Exactly.
Makes perfect sense.
But tell me this, right? So the showrunner put out a letter, says for genre writers, it's Star Wars. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my Star Wars. Before I became a writer, I was a fan. For 7 seasons, I watched Buffy the Summers grow, find love, kill that love. I watched her fight and struggle and slay. There is only one Buffy, one Xander, one Willow, Giles, Cordelia, Oz, Tara, Kendra, Faith, Spike, Angel. They can't be replaced. Joss Whedon's brilliant and beautiful series cannot be replicated, and I wouldn't try to. But here we are, 20 years later.
Trying to.
And the world seems a lot scarier, so maybe it could be time to meet a new Slayer. Awesome.
Sounds like a sequel.
Sounds like a sequel.
Either that, or it's just going to be a complete reboot, and it's going to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but there's no Xander, there's no Willow, there's no Giles. They're all new characters.
I think they're going to do 20 years later. Buffy's dead, or whatever has happened.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it would be Faith that's dead, right? Because the story is that whenever Buffy died...
But then again, because of the way that Buffy ended, the original series ended...
There is...
We'll
not go into spoilers too
much.
much.
No,
because my son is listening to this, and we're watching Buffy at the moment, so
you're fine.
I'm being selfish.
But okay, well, the series ends, and obviously everyone listening who was a Buffy fan, you'll know how the series ended. So you're not bound by that anymore.
Yeah.
Without getting into spoiler territory here for what is essentially a 20-year-old TV show.
But do you think that if they did go with, say, Rhonda, the Vampire Slayer, do you think would they call it Rhonda the Vampire Slayer, or would they call it Buffy the Vampire Slayer and have Buffy brings back Sarah Michelle Gellar in a small role in the background as a watcher or whatever?
Well, see, it's difficult to do that because it's not like taking another franchise. Say like Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters can be anyone. Star Trek, that can be anyone. You can have the Next Generation. You can have, unfortunately, Discovery. You can have this, that, and the other with it. But whenever you're dealing with a TV show that's called after a main character, you can't exactly have that connectivity without it featuring either the same version of that character or a rebooted version of that character.
Yeah.
And that's the bind that you're left in.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I would like to think that it'll not be called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but then they had Angel.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was just about to say. If anything, I would want to see a new series of Angel. I want to see that story continue 20 years later.
Yeah. I'm watching the series at the minute, and we're up to season 6 of Buffy. Which one is it that Once More Feeling is?
That's season 6.
That's season 6. So we're into season 6. They've just fought Glory.
Yeah.
That was the last season.